So here we are. The project or work package I will talk about today is a long or fairly long project that we've been working with in the cluster. It has been involved into NewTech Aquas. We wanted to use the data there to accommodate for better modeling and better application of industry data into management practices and modeling. So I will show you a little bit here what we've been doing. This is obviously short and sweet, but I will do my best to answer questions afterwards. So our sort of headliner is parasite management using data. We wanted to see how we could use the management information, environmental data from fish farms in Norway to get a better grip on sea lice. That is the short version of it. Obviously, projects like this develop as we go along. The industry need that we started to address is the sea lice, which is, for everybody who knows anything about salmon culture, is a major issue. It's expensive, it's animal welfare, it's our reputation towards our market and our society. And we really need to get to grips with this problem. Probably treatments cost us about $1 billion annually. And it's also animal welfare aspect, as I said. So sustainability as well, if we lose fish while delicing, as we are then not producing food with that fish that is removed from the production. So we started discussing already a couple of years ago how we could be better at sharing information and which data we could actually legally share. There are a lot of data we cannot, under any circumstances, share with each other. That's illegal and inside trading risks. So the governance is in a process. Governance in a process like this is incredibly important. So we have been working on it since 2015. So we are starting to know what we are doing. We have done all the little and big mistakes and let's call it experiences that you do in a process like this. I wouldn't. The fish farmers are an important driver behind us, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do anything of this. So the cooperation and the efforts of using data as a management tool is quite important in this context and almost every other, as we have learned as we go along. So we call the project we started with is called the Aqua Cloud, but it has been so successful that we have actually separated it out as a limited company that will then contribute with data for a reasonable price to those who want to use it. And in this case, we are sharing environmental data from numerous depths in the cages along the Norwegian coast, from the southernmost point of Norway to the northernmost. So we have a great north-south access in the data, and also east-west, covering fjords and more open ocean. So the underlying magic is the fish farmers gathering data and sharing it. Also, we have in every cage, and we have a reference station on every site. That is by law. Sea lice data is reported weekly, and together this information could potentially impact on better modeling and better understanding on how we impact. I mean, this orange and red colors, they look really, really dramatic, but this is the sea lice spread in the area around me called Bergen. I'm in Bergen on the west coast of Norway. And this is the sea lice infection situation on a given date some 3 weeks ago. So this is a model run by the Veterinary Institute. There are a couple of models being run, and I think that's very positive. We always see that weather forecasts are made based on a couple of models where you find best fit for the situation at hand. Our target market is literally global salmon production in the first, or the user group, if you like. It's a global salmon farming, but we see, and that is the point of the NewTech Aqua project, we see actually that the experiences we have done so far can be designed into a roadmap for implication and uptake of this technology into new areas. So we have that track record to contribute with, and that's what we're doing in NewTech Aqua. And as everybody who has tried any kind of modeling, they know that we need good reference stations to verify the model. And the fish farmers have become a force to actually make that happen. And using the models, we can also see how other issues than sea lice spread around, like viruses, bacteria, and other parasites, which I think is extremely applicable to most every species in open ocean. So the results and impact, it's a bit of a complex picture. Lack of standards have impacted on data quality and consistency historically. It's improving, but we are still moving ahead on that road. Sea lice counting methods are not good enough, but new methods are coming online, camera-based methods. Several companies are really advanced on that, and that will be a game changer, because then we can count several hundred salmon, or lice on several hundred salmons a day, and automatically. So that will be a value chain of data that can link into blockchain and other modern technologies. We had a major hiccup this or late first quarter this year. There was a cyber attack where one important supplier, where we gather data from, not a fish farmer, but a industry supplier, actually had a very nasty cyber attack that locked down their global data computer systems for a couple of weeks, actually. And we had to wait until they had gotten around that. Sorry, it wasn't supposed to go up there. Yeah, well. I want to stay here. So the cyber attack has delayed the project and are further developing the model, but we have been working with, so we know what's in the coming. The impact, there's a lot happening where we can see where our impact can be. Better cooperation and standards, new innovation coming online, both in sensorics and using the data, new technology to access the data. We see, I don't want to mention companies, but there's one company in particular that's been very creative. They're called Manolin, based out of Bergen, but they work in all of Norway. And companies like that are up and coming, and they understand the power of our data. So using these small startups and cooperating with these small startups is very important, I think. There's huge government interest and funding towards industry-wide cooperation, as we see in our daily work in the cluster and in projects like this. And the expertise and experience that we are gathering is percolating outwards from Norway through New Tech Aqua and other, actually. And when we see that in New Tech Aqua as the most important aspect from us, that's sharing our information. So to give you a short update of where we are, this is current status. This is next to last slide. Data is coming online to impact modeling and decision management. And this is very, very important. If we don't use the data for modeling and decision management, we haven't done our job. Data needs to be understood in context. There are multiple standardization efforts in action, from some grading why fish die or grading mortalities to actually understanding the water profiles on site to be able to manage feeding and diseases, parasites and so on. The next level, I don't always have the understanding to see what's coming, and I think a lot of us will be surprised in the years to come. There is much more data coming online from many more parts of the farming. This is only in the ocean. When we get the freshwater data online, that will be the second game changer tied to AquaCloud, and we are working on projects towards that. And there's further development on different projects coming on as well. And we see a lot of raw material here for further developing EU-funded projects. I'm Bjorgolfur Havardsson. There you have my contact information, both on my email and my telephone. I would love to answer your questions and contribute in any way I can. And if people have great ideas about projects going further, we are always interested to talk to people. But we are run by industry needs, so we need to find a good platform on that. So I think I'll stop here, and I'll rather use a little bit more time for your questions if that's the case. So thank you so much.